Hi, family. Hi, family. This is Dr. Mo with Moya Body Care and Colon Hydrotherapy. And I am your favorite colon hydrotherapist that practices the sacred art of colon hydrotherapy, herbs, and natural living. And so, so many things have happened. Mm, yeah, so wow, this is not what I came on here to talk about. And my body is like doing a 1-2 dance, like literally. My body just went extremely uncomfortable. Comfortable in a good way, uncomfortable in a good way. But I don't want to talk about that right now. It's all good though. Everything's good. Everything's good. I had a client today. Um let's just go ahead and talk about it. Let's just go ahead. So I had a client today. I have been working with her. Young woman. I believe this client is in her early 40s. Like, she can't be no older than 41. I don't think she's near my age. I don't think so. I think she's like 40. She might be 41. She has 2 children. She's gone through this crazy divorce. And she's over that now. And like, the finances are coming back up. And like, she's getting her groove back. She's dating now and everything. And so she reached out to me and she wanted to tap into her higher self, her spiritual self. She wanted to do some cleansing, work on her body, just kind of tap back into being a woman again, right? After you didn't had the divorce and all that good stuff. And I was like, for sure. So we did the Zyto scan on her because I wanted to make sure that there were no like red flags with her organs or anything like that. And everything was good. And once we went over that, this was her protocol. I've been working with her once a week for the last, I want to say it's been a solid 2 months because she's gone through a whole session of 4 and then she came in on the tail of 1. Yeah, so it's been 2 months. It's been 2 months. 2 hours a week during her appointment with me. She spends 2 hours with me when she comes in once a week. And she gets a full body steam. And I follow that up with a colon therapy session. Now, how I do the full body steam is where the catalyst comes in. I'm using very specific oils to create a very specific movement in her body. I start with a gentle massage on her spine with her laying face down underneath the steam. So her body is already like awake. I start working in the oils up and down her spine, up over her shoulder blade, up over her shoulders, up behind her ears, back up on the occipital of the back of the head. I'm over her tailbone. Like, I'm really working the oils in also in her feet. And sometimes I'll put oils in her hand. Like, I'll work her hands too, like I work her feet. Pull the steam down over her for, she's normally in there no longer than 45 minutes. We've never hit 45 minutes plus. It's always been a little less than 45 minutes. And then I bring her back downstairs. She is back on the table. I cover her up with a blanket and she just chills for about 10 minutes. And then I come in. I work on her spine again on her left side before I insert the speculum, roll her back over onto her back. She has a very big, why am I losing my train of thought? Wedge to go up under her knees. So there's no pressure on her abdomen to like hold her stomach together. So she's completely relaxed, right? And then I expose the abdominal area. I add magnesium oil in the navel with my other recipe that I do not give out willingly. I may have to kill you if I tell you about that. And so that's my special recipe that I add in the navel, because it's going to go into actually 3 places, not 2. It's going to completely soften and open up her colon. Then it's going to go directly to her bloodstream and then push out any little creepy crawlies out of her bloodstream. And then it's also going to soften her nervous system and her lymphatic system. So that's actually 5, not 4 areas. So she's completely in an open, relaxed state. Like the body is straight up open. And then I pull a red light over her. So now the oils are being pushed into the body again. This way with the red light. The red light also is softening her nervous system. So she's going down for the count. And then to soften it up, I use 3 different sets of tuning forks on her. One set of tuning forks has 4 tuning forks. Another one has 6. Actually, no, I only use 2 sets of tuning forks on her. 2 sets. I use the Solfeggio set. Actually, no, it depends on what's happening with her. Now remember what I do. I flip in between the brain tuning fork set and the chakra set, but I always do the Solfeggio set. That's what it is on her. That's what I do. So anywho, today she came in. Today was her 9th. Today was her 9th session getting a full body steam and the colonic. This session was like none of the sessions added together. She released so much gunk. It was more than fecal matter. And then on top of that, we've been doing a lot of emotional and spiritual work. I never really add that in, but that is a huge part of my business, and I need to start talking about that a little bit more, or I will be talking about that a little bit more. But we've been doing some deep diving emotionally and spiritually. And then it affects her, of course, physically, right? So it's time for me to get her off the table. I roll her over onto her left side to remove the speculum. This is where it gets interesting. I go to remove the speculum, and this big brown and greenish looking situation just plops down on the underpad. So I kind of step back and I look. It's a full-on parasite nest. So I look at her. There is a parasite, kid you not, about as long as a straw. And it was hanging halfway in her body, halfway out. It was dead. And it was just hanging there. So I told the client, I said, hold on, you're going to feel me move something away from you. And she's like, what? And before I could allow her to go even further, I just quickly pulled it out. And she was like, oh my fuck, what was that? What was that? What was that? And I said, I want you to calm down. I'm slightly grossed out. I was like, I want you to just be easy. When you stand up and turn around, I don't want you to yell or scream or whatever, but I'm going to explain to you what this is. And she turned around and she looked. She went as white as a piece of paper. Completely white. And she just stood there. So I allowed her to process it for a second. I covered it because we shouldn't be inhaling any of that. So I covered it. This is waste. Covered it, took my gloves off, got everything away, and she's still standing there. So I stood in front of her and I said, love, this is going to be a lot to hear. You have been doing some of the deepest work I know possible on the planet without training to be a Buddhist or without training to be a spiritual guru, whatever. This is the highest, love. You have ascended. Meaning that you no longer feed the lower parts of yourself. You no longer are feeding the shit that you don't want to experience anymore. You're no longer feeding individuals that are parasitic to you. You are now feeding your body with the best of the best because you are now feeding your higher self. Now that your higher self is in gear, turned on, in alignment, all of the lower stuff has to come off of you. You have to shed it. That's why colon therapy is so important. This parasite and its nest that it was sitting in can no longer thrive in your body because it no longer is provided the nutrients for it to stay alive, because you no longer feel that way. You have changed your subconscious. Tears just started running down her face. I gave her a hug. I said, welcome to the club. She slowly walks to the restroom because she's still digesting it. And when she came out, she got dressed. We stood here for another, I want to say 30 minutes in deep dialogue about what this means and what self-care means now, and the fact that this is even possible and is capable, and what the fuck, and oh my God. She went through 1,001 emotions in like 3 minutes. I have to admit, it has been a while since I have seen that level of release. I'm always seeing people's releases, but I will share with you that this nest was a gnarly nest. I'm not going to lie. And she's on some herbs. I didn't really go into that, but I'll go into it. And I just took some herbs and I think they got stuck, and I keep trying to like say what I need to say. This nest was really, really gnarly. I'm going to be honest with you what it looked like. It looked like a bunch of wires like this, but a bunch of them together, like real tight. That's what it looked like. That's how thick it was, the nest that it was sitting in. And then the physical situation was about, it was about like this, like a straw, but it was dead. So it wasn't standing straight up. It was just kind of like hanging. When I pulled it out, it was parasitic. It was like when it came out. I know it's a lot. I'm giving you a whole lot. The emotional release off her heart space. Her color came back. Like it was just a lot was being processed. So what am I saying? What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, what I am saying is, colon therapy is a way for you to definitely shift into your next state of being. If you're really looking for a alignment, a realignment, a readjustment, looking to meet your higher self, your true self, looking to be re-engaged with it, colon therapy is an excellent tool for that. It really, really is. And if you want to experience that, I would love to be of service to you. My name is Dr. Mo with Moya Body Care and Colon Hydrotherapy, and I am your favorite colon hydrotherapist that practices the sacred art of colon hydrotherapy, herbs, and natural living. My private office is located in Torrance, California. My website is Moya, M-O-Y-A, bodycare.com. And you have about 3 different ways to work with me. Number 1 is through services. If you're local, you can definitely book an appointment with me by calling 562-682-0818. And you can come in and experience my colon therapy sessions titled the Moya Method. I know. Definitely come in and get that done. The second way that you can work with me is through coaching, through my seership program, which is all about learning how to master yourself. For about 3 months, we go deep, we dive deep, we pull your human design chart, your galactic signature, your solar return, natal chart, and I help you understand what all this stuff means. And then we devise a plan for you to start stepping and embodying your higher self. It's a phenomenal program. 3 months. It's definitely on my website. Check it out. Or if you would like to do what I do and become a colon therapist and help your community out in the same or better manner. How about that? I do offer colon hydrotherapy training. My next training is this January 19th, 2025. It is a 3-month online program where we meet for 3 months on Sundays from 11 to 1 p.m. PST time. And then that is followed up by a 6-day in-person training here at my office where you get your hands dirty, literally. So if you're ready for that, definitely reach out to me. My phone number again is 562-682-0818, and my website is Moya, MOYA, bodycare.com. Until then, stay magical.